bombardment from an American warship and an American bomber. The target, Yemen, the poorest country in the Middle East. US President Donald Trump launched the bombing campaign on March 15th in retaliation for attacks by Yemeni rebels known as the Houthis on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. The Houthis, supported by Iran, control much of the west of Yemen, including the capital, Sana'a. The strikes were supposed to hit the Houthis' bases and infrastructure, but they also hit civilian targets. The UK-based NGO Air Wars meticulously documented the human costs of the airstrikes on Yemen. The US has been bombing Yemen since Barack Obama started targeted drone attacks against al-Qaeda operatives in 2009. Trump's 2025 campaign was very different, with more than 800 strikes over a span of 7 weeks.
One of them is that we saw higher numbers of civilian casualties in this campaign compared to in other campaigns. This was a campaign of multiple strikes with quite significant frequency over a kind of concentrated geographical area. So we're seeing more intense strikes in cities. That's new and that's slightly different. We're also seeing strikes on civilian infrastructure. These were kind of higher than what we saw in previous campaigns.
One of the deadliest incidents was on April 28th. Among the targets hit that day, a detention center for migrants. The Air Wars team geolocated the attack to a center for migrants at a prison near the northern city of Sana'a. By cross-checking local accounts, Air Wars put the toll at 68 people killed, almost all of them migrants from Ethiopia. Air Wars also recovered images of the debris. The group's analysts identified the weapon used, a US-made GBU-39 glide bomb.
So these were images that were kind of first put online on social media, started to circulate. And then indeed our munitions team, they were looking particularly to understand what these munitions are, because often the munitions sort of helps diagnose the strike.
The team also looks at first-person accounts on social media to put human faces on the suffering, such as an incident on April 8th that left 13 people dead, including 4 children.
And part of the work of Air Wars is also to kind of capture these sort of small obituaries of individuals, things that kind of get lost in the headlines of those overall numbers, and capture that sort of like granularity of someone's existence before they were, hit by something that just sort of came out of nowhere and out of the sky.
President Trump declared a ceasefire on May 6th. The Air Wars team is collating its data and continuing its investigations into the civilian casualties.